Hello, my name is Renee Lamalino with Modern Homemakers, and today we're going to do a haircut. We're going to do a bowl cut. Now, originally, the name bowl cut comes because they used to actually set a bowl on top of the head and just cut out everything that was underneath that bowl. But we're going to do a little bit more methodically than that today. So this is Isaiah, he's my grandson, and we're going to do his hair. Now I've actually cut his hair in a bowl cut before, and it's just grown out. So first off, we'd want to put on a cape so he doesn't get hair down his neck. If you don't have a cape, that's fine. You can use, I would recommend a sheet rather than a towel. A towel is kind of bulky, and the hair doesn't lay down as well. So a sheet with a little clothespin would work, or you can buy an actual shampoo cape or a comb-out cape. So this needs to be wet, so we could either, just have taken a shower, or if the hair is not wet, just spray it down with a spray bottle. If you don't have a spray bottle, you could just take a cup of water and dip your comb in that cup. We're also going to use a rat tail comb. And these hair clips that just to keep the hair in place, so it'll make a better cut. I'll show you how we're going to use those. And a pair of scissors. They do need to be hair cutting scissors. So whereas you could save the money and not buy a fun cape, you do need hair cutting scissors. If you try to use sewing scissors or just regular craft scissors, it's not going to be sharp enough, and you're not going to get a nice even cut, and you're not going to be happy with the results. These are not that expensive. You can get them at a beauty supply. You could probably even find them online, but they're not that expensive. Spend maybe $20, $25, and you can use them over and over again. So it's a good investment. You would spend that much on one haircut. So I'm going to part in the middle, and then I'm going to also part, here, go ahead and turn around, buddy. I'm going to part in the back to just divide the hair into 4 quadrants. And it doesn't have to be exactly, totally perfect. This is basically the reason we're doing this, is just to keep the hair out of our way, so we just work with one section at a time. So, doing good. Another trick, Isaiah's really good about getting his hair cut, but some kids are not so good about doing that. So if you have a child that is squirmy, do this in front of the TV. Get it their favorite cartoon, and that really helps. So I've taken about 1/4 of an inch of hair at the bottom, and the rest of this I'm just going to kind of twist it around, get it up out of my way. Go ahead and look forward. So I got my beauty license a long time ago, in 1979. So I've been cutting hair a long time. I don't do it professionally anymore, but I've never regretted getting that training to do hair, because I used it a lot on the family. Everyone's always grateful to get a free haircut, or maybe get the little highlights put in their hair or something like that. So that's why I just wanted to share these tips with you, because a lot of these things are really not that hard to do, and you can save a lot of money. So sometimes the guys feel a little bit silly having these clips in their hair, but you really will get a better haircut if you have that. So just tell them it's just for a couple of minutes. Normally they're not getting their picture taken. This is the exception. Doing good, buddy. Okay, let's go ahead and turn around again. So you do have to kind of keep spraying. It always kind of gets dry, and we'll try to keep it nice and wet. So for the bowl cut, it is, remember, it's gonna look like a bowl. So we want to comb it down real flat against the head. Sometimes whenever we cut bangs, we lift up, but for a bowl cut, I just do them straight down like that. I know you don't like them in your eyes. Sorry. Okay. Alright, I'm going to come down here so I can see you. I'm going to go right around the eyebrow length. You know, this could be a little bit shorter than eyebrow. We're going to go right around the eyebrow length. Just up, just above the eyebrows. This is kind of like our pattern this first time around. So that's what we will follow whenever we do the rest of the haircut. Okay, Squirmy. Good. Try not to squirm too much right here, okay? Can you try? Can't do it? Good. And then on the sides, I'm just going to come down from that point. Right here is where that ended. And I'm just going to come down at an angle. And since this has been cut before, you know, that's something that you might want to do is go to the hair salon and have a haircut done, and then you can just follow that same line that was done. That's easier than doing, you know, from the start, a brand new haircut. Good. Okay, then we're going to switch around to this side. Another tip is if you have a mirror to be in front of you, that would make it a little bit easier. But since we don't have a mirror, I'm just going to be looking at him. It's okay. Okay. Then one thing we're going to look at is the ears. So if you notice the length from this hair on each ear. So you want to get that the same, okay? Let me look at you. Let me see if they're the same. Pretty close. Looking pretty good. This one might be just a hair longer. All right. Okay. Then we're going to go around and do the back. So that same thing on the back. I'll just spin him around. Now, if you've got like kitchen bar stools that spin, that would be fun and easier. So we're going to take about that same amount off back here. And you'll notice when we get to the side, they should come to that same point, that same length whenever we get to the side, okay? Okay, I'm going to turn this side a little bit. Since we don't have a spinning chair, we have to do the manual spinning. And yet I'm kind of taking my time with this. This is, like I said, this first pass around is the most important. And then meeting those two places up, just gonna get that. Okay, so after that's done, then all you have to do is take some hair down. So just like about a half or quarter inch of hair at a time. That's why we want the rat tail comb.
When is this going to be done?
Oh, it's going to be done pretty soon. And if you get close here, you should be able to see where my line was, the original place that I cut, and how this hair hangs down. So right there is where that original line is. And so you just follow that like a pattern for your next cuts. So these next cuts are going to be easier. Can you look up there? Well, not that far. Just look right here, this level. So I'm just following that other line. And we'll just go a couple times around the back and then do that same thing around the front until all of the hair is cut. So whenever we started doing Isaiah's hair in a bowl cut, it had been layered, and so we just been letting those layers grow out. And so the top wasn't quite long enough in the back to begin with, but it's not really that noticeable. And now as it's growing, this top part is getting longer, and it's all going to be that same length. In fact, this haircut might just make it the same length. Yep, it's almost down there. So you can see there's just a few straggly pieces because of that previous layered cut. So within a few more haircuts, those layers will be gone. Okay, can you sit real tall? Can you sit real tall?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Awesome. Let's go ahead and take both of these down. And then as you get to where there's not much hair left, you can get rid of some of the clips and clip it together. All right, this time when I came down, none of that hair is going below. So the previous layers are still there, and I'm kind of like just pushing it up to give it a little bit of a turn under. So this doesn't even need to be cut yet. Another thing, this is the traditional bowl cut that we're doing. There's lots of modifications. One of the modifications you've probably seen is I could take the shears, the trimming shears, and buzz this up. This part under here could be real short, and then this part up here could be longer. But today we're just doing that traditional, the old-fashioned bowl cut. Real popular back in the 70s, if you remember. All right, turn around, buddy. And we're gonna do that same thing here in the front. And if you can look real close, you should be able to. Now, if you can't see, like here, if you can't see the underneath, then you would just make a more shallow parting so that you want to be able to see that hair underneath your pattern. So just remember, if you can't see that, do less hair so that you can see the line to use to cut by. You're doing good, Isaiah. Okay. Here's the thing, sometimes happens that their shoulders are kind of in the way and you don't feel like you got enough room for the scissors. If that happens, just come from the top down. So you can cut from either way. So it might be the length of the scissors is longer, or they might be kind of like shrugging their shoulders up. So sometimes you feel like you need to cut those bangs super, super short because it costs so much to have a haircut. If you're doing it yourself, you don't have to feel like you got to cut it all the way up to here to make it last. You know, you can do it can be just the right length all the time. Oh yeah, you needed this haircut for sure. And the more of the hair that's underneath that's cut, the easier it is to see that line. You getting tired of this? Yeah? You're doing good. Doing very well. Okay, I need you to look right up at me. Look right from the front. Because of that previous layer cut, there's not too much to do here. Any of these cuts that are straight across, you will notice later, okay, don't move. If you move, you're going to get crooked. You may notice like little straggler hairs that you need to cut later. Okay, let me see if it's even. So I'm looking at the ears. I'm going to take a little bit more right there. I think that side's just a hair longer now. Be real still by your ear. Pull it out from the ear. Don't cut right next to the ear. So I'm pulling that hair out because you don't want to You know what you don't want to do. I'm not going to say that out loud. Okay. Okay, now let's look all the way around to see if we see any little straggler hairs. Like, I'm not real happy with this right here. It was because of whenever his shoulder. Put your shoulder down, sweetie. Put your hands down. There. That is so much better. Love that posture. So try not to move. Now, he doesn't have any, yeah, there goes those shoulders again. Some kids might have some hair hanging out the back. I left this long enough so that we don't have to mess with shaving the neck. I kind of did that on purpose, just left it long enough because that's a whole nother thing whenever you get to doing that, so we won't have to bother with that. So for styling this, go ahead and take this off. And for styling, bowl cut, it's the easiest thing in the world. You don't really have to do anything. If you wanted to, you could blow dry this, but really all you need to do is just take and kind of push here, and that's going to make it curl under a little bit. So as it dries, if we do that, just going to give it a little bit of that turn under. I'm going to do that same thing in the back. See the difference? Just comb it and then just push under a little bit. And then as it dries, it's going to look like that bowl. All right, what do you say?
Good.
Good? And there you have it. There's how to cut a bowl cut. We need our model to look over here. So wave bye-bye to the camera. You're done. You can go back to your cartoons. And I'll see you next time for Modern Homemakers.